It's a beautiful day, a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. My girls celebrated with their dad last night because he's working this weekend. So they had dinner and a movie with him last night. Yeah. So happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And if you don't have your dad with you like me, my dad has been gone for, 32 years. But it's always fun to take some time on Father's Day weekend to remember him and the special times we shared together and the love that stays with us. So I hope you feel that about your dad as well. Okay, happy Saturday. Welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. As always, I'm happy you're here. I don't usually do Facebook Lives on Saturday. Thank you for accommodating me this morning since I was out mulching and working in my yard most of yesterday, but so happy to have that big chore done. Couple of things before we get started. I'll be making 3 cards today with the Awash Beauty Suite, showing you 3 different ways to use that suite. But I want to let you know that this card has, I made a free project sheet to make this card. It was posted to my blog yesterday, June 17th, on stampinpeace.com, so you can find your free project sheet there to download and use. Now we need to get started on today's cards featuring the Awash Beauty Suite. So I'm going to flip my camera around now. While I'm doing that, please share this live video and invite others to join us this morning. In the Awash Beauty Suite, which is on page 66 and 67 of the annual catalog, you'll find the bundle, the True Beauty bundle, great stamp set with some wonderful matching and coordinating dies. The iridescent pearls that you've seen me using on many of my projects lately is part of that suite. And then, of course, we have this gorgeous, this is my favorite floral DSP in our new annual catalog. So I want to show you this very quickly. Here's one, great cut it across, great for card making because you can section it off. Also great for scrapbook pages, or maybe if you're doing a collage or some kind of a framed piece of home decor or a gift, something like that. Pretty blushing bride on the back. There's some lovely little bouquets, nice bright granny apple green here. We are going to be using this sheet in one of the cards today. And what I want to tell you about this particular sheet is a number of these dies will cut out all these different shapes. And then you can actually, I believe it cuts out everything on the page. We've got the little flowers, we've got the sprigs, we've got the leaves, we've got the blooms. Trying to space them out a little bit so you can kind of see. There we go. This one is an extra. Okay, so there are all of the matching dies that will cut out the different images on this sheet of designer series paper, as well as the stamped images. So you get 2 choices there. And then the set also includes some additional pieces that are, I like to call like add-on dies or accent dies or coordinating dies. They don't necessarily match a stamped image, but they enhance the stamps and the other dies in the collection. All right. Actually, I'll just leave these out and put them in my little magnetic dish because we'll be using some of these today. Here's the back side of that, a pretty Blushing Bride watercolor wash. I love this little print. A nice balmy blue on the back. This is pretty stunning. I love that they added the Mary Merlot color in here. Gorgeous print on the back. I did Facebook Live, probably 2-ish weeks ago, maybe up to 3 weeks ago, using some of these papers. So they may look familiar to you that way. So like I said, we're going to make 3 cards today, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways to use this product suite. Now, before we actually make all these cards, I want to give you kind of an idea of the type of card we're going to be making. So I've been down here cleaning and organizing. Last night I worked till about 11. Since I was outside all day, I had some things I had to get done last night in my Stampin' studio. And then as I was finishing up nearly 11 o'clock, I came across this. And isn't this a cute little tote? My friend Jackie Mayer made this for me. But I had all of these little triangular easel things, and what was on here was calendars, little tear-off calendars. For the last several years, we made a number of these for make and takes with my Creative Escape weekends. I even did some square ones here at one time, just adding a little variation, so I wasn't showing people the very same thing every year. And I got to thinking, what am I saving all these for? I need to do something with them. Actually, here's one that I typically have up on my shelf right now that my friend Joyce Whitman made. Same thing, just a fun little tear-off calendar. And I'm going to set that there so I put it back on my shelf. But I started thinking, what am I doing with all these? You know, there's no calendar left. Do I want to add more calendars? But I don't need all these calendars in a single year. And I thought, oh, why not make them into a card? I can put maybe a stamped image, maybe a sentiment from one of my stamp sets. And then I can always just add a piece of white to the back side, or a coordinating neutral that I can write a message on. So I'm hanging on to this basket close, and I'm going to work on that in the next couple of days. But that's the type of card we're going to make today. It's a basically a stand-up, I'm going to call it a tent card, unless you can think of a better term for it. But I'm going to call it a tent card. And actually, let's make the tent portion first. So to make that, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and then it's scored at 5 1/2. So the finished, when this is folded flat and goes into an envelope, it will be 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So same standard size as most of the cards we make here on Stampin' Piece with Mary Knabe. And you can get 2 of these out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So 4 1/4 by 11, I scored at 5 1/2. In addition to that, you're going to need the same color cardstock that measures 5 inches by 4 inches. And on this one, we need to do some scoring. We're going to score at 1 inch. And I'm scoring with the long side at the top. So score at 1 inch, flip it over, and I'm going to score at 2 1/2 inches. I'm going to flip that over again, and this time score at 4 inches. And the reason I flip that over between score lines is because I want to accordion fold this. So some are being folded one direction, the outer ones, and then the inside one, the middle score line, is folded in the opposite direction. So now I have this, and this is what I'm going to use to make this tent. Those score lines allow it to close and fold flat, but then when it's open, it can stand up and be on display. So let's put this together first. I'm going to do this with my whoops, is this empty? I think that one is empty. Let me grab another here really quickly. Yep. I'm going to do this part with my multi-purpose glue. And remember, you'll want it to be like this, sort of like a W. And you're going to put one flap, that one of those 1 inch fold right along the bottom of the inside of that large piece of cardstock. Make sure I get this lined up. You can see why I chose to use the multi-purpose glue, because it allows me to just slide that around until I get that fold lined up with the bottom of the large piece of cardstock. And then I'm just going to fold this down, kind of hold it in place with my fingers. And then I'm going to fold the front flap of my tent card down. And I'll just hold this in place for a few seconds to give that glue a few seconds to dry. Laura, you're having a nice day in west coast of Michigan. How nice. Shar, you're also experiencing a cooler day. Yeah, it was crazy out here in the Midwest. Way warmer than this week than we're typically used to this time of year. All right. Now, I'm going to add this. This is going to be part of my front. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on now. And then I have a piece of white that I'm putting on the back. Now remember, this is a card that won't open. It will stand up, but it will not open. So this will be part of my front, but you'll want a place to write a message. So I'm using the back side and a piece of basic white to do that. Now, if you want to stamp something here, you might want to do that first. And with this tent card closed, it's still easy enough to write on there. So a little bit unusual. Our tent card will stand up, but it doesn't open, so you need a place to put your personal message, and that'll be on the back. So that way too, when whoever receives your tent card has it on display, the message isn't like bam out there for everybody to read if they don't want anybody else to read it. All right, so now for this first tent card, we're using this piece of Designer Series paper, and I'm going to cut this across at 5 1/4, and then I'm going to cut at 4 inches. I love these kinds of layouts of designer series paper for making very quick cards. So that's the front. And then all I have to do is add a sentiment and a little bit of embellishing, and I'm good to go for that quick card. But don't think this is it. I've got 2 more cards to show you using this suite in 2 other ways. Hi there, Holly and Chris. Welcome. It is gorgeous paper. Let's see. Just because, here for you always, with love, you are a true friend. I think I'm going to go with you are a true friend. And I'm going to stamp that. I want a color that stands out. I think I'll stamp in the polished pink. Whoops. Lots of great colors in here. Calypso Coral, Balmy Blue, Mary Merlot, Polished Pink. What else is in here? Granny Apple Green, Mossy Meadow. I'm trying to think what that yellow, oops. That's not good, Mary. I don't want that edge. There we go. That's better. And I'm going to punch this with you know what? I was going to use my Label Me Fancy, but instead I'm going to use my rectangular postage stamp punch. I don't use this a whole lot, so I'll do this for something different today. And actually, I'm going to put it, try and decide where I really want it. I think I'm going to do it just like that. More on, so that the sentiment is more on the bottom half of this. And I'll show you why. Because I'm not going to adhere it just yet. But I'm going to remember I said we have all these dies that cut out parts of this DSP. I'm going to do that with this, and then make sure I have the right one. And then this will work as an embellishment. Wow, 37 people on at this moment. I'm so surprised. I don't usually do Saturday mornings, and I thought, gee, it's such a beautiful day where I live. I thought, is anybody going to be joining me? So you've just made my day. Thank you. Thank you so much. So now I'm trying to decide where I want this. I think I want to do it just like this. You could even add something like this on the back side too if you wanted to decorate that back. I feel like this piece might be a little bit larger than I actually want it, so I'm going to cut off just a little bit of this. Yes, this is more what I'm looking for. All right, so I will pop this sentiment up on dimensionals. I'll put it right here in this corner. But you can obviously put it wherever you like. It's a wonderful thing about this craft. We can just mix and match and put things together that are pleasing to us. And you know, if they're pleasing to us, they're going to be pleasing to other people as well. All right, and then finally I'll add a few of the pretty iridescent pearls. Did anybody get these? They really are noticeably different than our regular pearls. So I really am enjoying them. Let's see, I'm trying to think, where do I want? I'm gonna put one here. And then I'm gonna do a couple of small ones towards the top. All right, and there is our first tent card. All right, our first tent card. So you can see how it stands, and you can see how it looks from the side. And of course, you can use the back now to write your personal message. Fits in our standard medium envelopes just wonderfully. So that will be one of the cards I give away today, but let's make a couple more. So again, we're going to start with the same base, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and it's scored down the center at 5 1/2. And then I want to use my 5 inch by 4 inch piece of cardstock to make the part that will hold up, make that tent stand up nicely, and then again fold in place. And you know, pretty much most of the cards we make will stand up, right? But this one will stand up for the long term because it's got this nice large base on it. So something pretty you can even put on display. I like motivational quotes. And I even thought, gosh, this would be a great way to display a favorite quote of mine on one of these tent cards or tent easels. So I'm going to score at 1 inch, flip it over, score at 2 1/2, flip it over again because I'll be folding these score lines in different directions, and score the last one at 4 inches. And then remember, you kind of want it in a W shape, looking at it from the side, and then laying it down so that the 1 inch flaps should be on the bottom. Fold the base in half. And then now we're ready to add our accordion folded piece to the inside bottom. So you'll want to use your multi-purpose glue. Almost went right beyond there, didn't I? And you'll want to line up the bottom of this folded piece of cardstock with the bottom of the base. The bottom of the tent, so to speak. And then you'll just simply fold the front flap over, hold it in place nicely. Hi there, Mary Kay. I actually have a Mary Kay story. My name is actually Mary Catherine with a K. And I went to Catholic elementary school, and we had 3 Marys in my small class. And so the teacher wanted to give us all something. The one was Mary Ann. The other was, I think, Mary Angela. And then, so she was called Mary Angela instead of just Mary. And then she said to me, my name was Mary Catherine. I was a little first grader, and she said, would you like to be called Mary Kay? And I was so shy, I said, okay. So anybody that knows me from St. Brendan's School calls me Mary Kay. Nobody else calls me Mary Kay. But that's all right. So that's my Mary Kay story. Okay, so let's add our white to the back side so we have a place to write a message. And of course, if you want to stamp on this piece, you should do it before adhering it. And then let's add this once again to the front. So my greens that I'm using are Mossy Meadow and Granny Apple Green. And the Granny Apple Green piece is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So I just have that teeny tiny little border of the Mossy Meadow showing. And the next thing I'm going to do is, I actually decided, this is a last minute decision here, but I want to use this lattice die, which means I'm also going to need to bring in my large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I wasn't going to use this one, but at the last second I thought, I really do want to use that. Okay, and for this, I want to cut a piece of white. I'm going to have a white lattice. So I'm just going to cut a piece of white that measures, 5.5 by 4 1/4 to accommodate that large die. Okay, you can see that the die is just slightly smaller than that. So it's probably like a 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So you probably want to cut your cardstock to be 5.5 by 4 1/4. That way you don't have to worry about, is the whole die on a piece of cardstock. That gives you just enough. Now there's lots of cuts to make with this lattice shape, so I'm going to go back and forth a few times to make sure it cuts well. And what I can do is just flip it over. Come on. Oh yes, cut very nicely. Let's get that out of the way. And I can really just pull up the lattice part and leave all these little diamonds if you need some confetti or if you want to make a, what am I thinking? Mosaic. This would be a great die to use for little mosaic pieces. So now I have this, and this is going to fit right on top of my Granny Apple Green. Oh, this would have been a good time for me to use an adhesive sheet. I didn't think of that, at least not soon enough. But I'm just going to add the teeniest tiny amount of multi-purpose glue. You don't need to glue every little line here. Just maybe get your corners, the edges a little bit. If you feel it needs more, just kind of do some dots where the various lines intersect. Another thing you could do is put a little puddle of glue on your silicone mat and lay the die on here, the die cut piece, and sponge the ink on it. You just have to be very careful that if you're using that method, you're not moving the die cut piece. You're right, Char, the adhesive sheet would have worked really well for this. But this was a last minute decision to use this lattice. So I didn't think of the adhesive sheet in time. And to avoid getting your fingers sticky if any of the glue seeps out, I don't think it did on mine, I used it really sparingly, you can just lay your silicone mat right on top. And any glue that does get on that silicone mat, it just rubs off super easily. Now, I'm going to die cut some of these different shapes from that designer series paper. And all of these shapes I can die cut with my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So, and obviously it's going to be easier if we cut these things apart, which is what I'm going to do. Boy, things have really been blooming nicely in my yard this week with all the heat, which I'm excited about because I wanted it, not that the wedding is here at my house, but you know, the bridal party will be here the morning of the wedding, getting hair and makeup done, and out of town people maybe in and out. So I just wanted it to look pretty, and it sure does. So I'm thinking it should last till the weekend. And let's cut some of these out with dies. Designer series paper and dies like this, this can be a fun way to hook somebody new into card making. A little, you know, maybe a little less intimidating than the stamping. And then you get them hooked on stamping later. Because stamping really is fun, right? That's why we're all here. Okay. Of course, if you feel better by adding a sticky note or washi tape to these to hold the dies in place, you can certainly do that. Char, I will send, I will share wedding pictures after the 26th. Who knows, I might even surprise you. And if I think of it, I tend to be like truly in the moment in activities, especially when I'm doing things with my family. But who knows, if I get a moment, maybe at the reception or something, I'll take a quick picture for Instagram or my Facebook page or something. That way you won't have to wait quite so long. Aren't weddings great? I mean, really, so much fun. I even remember, my mom comes from a very large family, so I remember going to weddings for a lot of my older cousins. We were one of the younger families. But gosh, for kids, we just had so much fun going to weddings. And I honestly, I'm just as excited as an adult. And it's been a long time since I've been to a wedding. I can hardly believe after all this time, it's like almost here. Andrea and John will be over later today, doing some more prep for things we need to take over for the ceremony and rehearsal dinner and things like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to make a pretty little arrangement. Maybe like trying to decide where I want this blue piece. And I actually cut out 2 of these because I want to layer them. All right, I'm going to start by putting on the green stem and leaves and the pink flowers. And then I'll kind of decide. I'm just going to put one dimensional there for now. And then I'll decide where I want to add that blue. Just going to lay this down. Now, when you double up the flowers, you can have them be layered exactly and just pull the petals up. Sometimes I do that. Or you can kind of offset them. And I think that's what I'm going to do today, is offset those petals. Just gives a look of a fuller flower. More full flower. What's the correct grammar there? Okay, I like that. And remember this piece I cut off before? I wonder if I can stick that in there somehow. Okay, I'm going to use those. Remember we cut, for the last Facebook Live, I had cut a sheet of my mini Stampin' dimensionals in half so I can get these teeny tiny little skinny dimensional pieces. I'm going to use that there. You know, I think I'm going to cut this too. I'll cut it a little differently than the first time. So I can tuck some behind and then some on top. What do you think of that? Yes, no? Oh, think I like it up here. That's what I want. I'm listening to myself think out loud here, and honestly, I just was thinking, oh my gosh, this is how I work, even when I'm not in front of a group on Facebook. Yeah, I talk to myself. Does anybody else do that? Is that because I live alone, or is that because, I don't know, because I need expert advice? I don't know. What do you think? Oh, I think maybe this one down here. I think so. But I don't like that little white edge sticking out. Have any of you ever done this where you keep playing and then you trim a piece? Stella, you talk to yourself all the time. Carol does too. Shar, oh, good. Makes us all human, I guess, right? Trim this a little more. And I'm not really liking this shape here. There. And then this is the piece I cut off way at the beginning. I don't think I need all of that. I'm going to do just this little bit. Yep, that's exactly what I want. And I'm going to use a mini dimensional for that. Oh, that's funny. Tanya and Carol, you're both making me laugh. Ooh, okay. That I'm loving. Now I'm just going to add a sentiment. Let's see. We'll use something different this time. I'm going to use Here For You Always. If I can get it out. There we go. And I think I'm going to stamp it in the Mossy Meadow. There's my little scrap paper. I now have my ink pens to the side on to my left instead of in front of me, and I'm liking this better. And this time I will use my Label Me Fancy punch. I'll put this right in the center. My flower's not really centered. I had in mind that I was going to put more of the blue over here and then the sentiment over here, but now I'm not quite sure what I want to do. Actually, I think I'm going to put my sentiment here and then maybe put a bow there. That will make me happy. Ooh, I'm so glad I decided to put that lattice behind. What do you think? I feel like that lattice behind it just adds so much. I'm glad I had that light bulb come on. Pull this up just a little bit. And I'm going to use this. Is this polished pink? Yes, it is. I'm going to make a pretty little polished pink bow with this. I'm so happy that these sheer ribbons for our, let's see, 2021-23 in colors stayed around. Sheer ribbons are my favorite, I think. Although honestly, even the like faux linen ribbons and the cotton twill, we've started getting lots of thinner ribbon, not so thick and stiff, so they're much easier for bow making. And they also don't create a lot of bulk when you're mailing cards. It would have been pretty with a blue ribbon as well, a white ribbon, whatever suits your fancy. And then we'll finish off with some of those iridescent pearls once again, if I can find them in my mess. Somebody asked in the last Facebook Live, I didn't see it till after the live ended, what this tool is. This is the Take Your Pick tool. So it has that putty end, it has a piercing end, and this pulls out and it has like this little scraper thing, maybe for larger embellishments. It also comes with another tip that you can take this one out and insert the other one, and that one is a stylus with two different ball ends, so it's great for scoring and things like that. Yes, Kathleen. Oh, thank you. Update, 40 people watching now. Awesome. I love it. I don't know, maybe I should do more Saturdays, because I certainly wasn't, I want to put this large one here, I think, because I certainly wasn't expecting to see so many people on a Saturday morning. I love this. Remember, when we are working with embellishments, we typically work in odd numbers, sort of a rule of design. Not just card making or crafting, but floral arranging, home decor. A lot of times they are working in odd numbers because odd numbers is supposed to be more pleasing to the eye. All right, isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so we have two gorgeous cards now, two gorgeous tent cards, right? And place for us to write our personal message on the back. I'm not going to want to give these away. I'm just saying. I'm starting to rethink that decision, but I will. I'm a woman of my word, so I will. All right, let's make one more. And this time for the flowers, we're going to stamp and die cut. So I wanted you to see the various different ways you can use this product suite. So once again, I have my tent base, card tent base, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I scored it 5 1/2. Then I've got my piece of coordinating cardstock that measures, let me think, 5 by 4 inches. And I want to score that at, and when I put this on my, when you find this on my blog at the beginning of next week, I'll have all the measurements there for you as well. But you can also, if you don't want to wait till then, you can also watch the replay of this right here on Facebook on Stampin' Piece with Mary Knabe. And if you're ever looking for videos just right here on Stampin' Piece with Mary Knabe Facebook page, click on the word more at the top of this page and then click on videos. My Facebook Lives are always automatically saved to this page where I do them. All right, so I scored it 1, 2 1/2, and 4 inches. And now I'm going to accordion fold this and give those score lines a nice crease with my bone folder. I've got the 2 small flaps at the bottom. And I'm going, oops, my thumb went right into that. And adding my multi-purpose glue. I'm lining up the bottom edge of that small folded cardstock to the bottom edge of my card base, folding over the top. Oh, Marcia, you've been on vacation. You know, I'm glad you told me that, because not too long ago I thought, gee, I haven't seen Marcia's name pop up. Vacation's a good reason to miss, though. And you can always watch the replays later. You don't want to miss out on vacation or special times with family and friends. I certainly understand that. And I know you do too, because the times I've changed for family or friend reasons, you're always very understanding. All right, so now notice with all of these, I'm creating the same tent card base, same DSP, or same colors of cardstock, same dimensions, but in the end, we'll have 3 very different tent cards. So this is you know, obviously considered a fun fold card. But again, you can also think of using this for like your little mini desk calendars. You can put a fun, what do I say, like inspirational message, something, you know, a very meaningful quote to you, anything like that that you maybe want to put on display. You could even do some stamping and decorating, DSP, whatever, and add a little photo. Maybe you want a photo of your grandchildren on your desk or displayed on your shelf. That would be fun and easy. This would be fun and easy to make with kids too. They could do this as gifts for mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, or a teacher gift, anything like that. You know, so often people are thinking, well, this isn't really a craft for kids. It is. It is. Of course it is. All right, where's my stamp set? Here we go. So this time I'm going to be using this, what to me looks more like a rose. And I've got this. Did I put white on the back? I did. I have an extra one here for some reason. I don't know why. So this will be my base. I was going to stamp the sentiment on first, but I think I'll hold off doing that. And because I know I'm going to stamp and die cut the floral pieces and then adhere them to this white. Maybe I don't even want the white on there. Do I want the white on there? Let me hold off on that. Let's work on this. We'll do our stamping. And for these, I'm actually going to stamp with the Mossy Meadow. Mossy Meadow? Yeah, I think I want Mossy Meadow this time. And there we go. How about this time we stamp with Calypso Coral for the flower? Ooh, that is pretty, isn't it? And then this is a little wide for going through my mini machine, so I'm gonna do that. But this way, I think I'll be able to die cut all of them at once. By the way, does anybody know why I flipped that over? If you can squeeze the 2 plates just a little bit, go ahead and flip over that bottom cutting plate. Carol, I'm thinking if your grandkids are teenagers and still craft, they're probably going to be lifelong crafters. Oh, here's I'm looking for my dies. They're right here. Right where they should be. That doesn't seem right. I love how, too, the stamp sets are designed. Oops, I shifted a little bit, but I'm going with it anyways. I love how the dies or the stamps are designed that when you stamp them, you get some kind of variation or different tones, different shades of the same color. Oh, Carol, I love that. You gave away some of your retired stuff and then it sort of came back to you in the form of a birthday card she made. That's awesome. What I think I really want is a smaller piece of white on the front. I'm going to cut something smaller so that we have more of this bright green showing. How about, let's go with 4 3/4 by 3.5. Do you like how I change things as I go along? Oh, what happened? Are we frozen? Oh, okay. Maybe it was just my screen. That doesn't seem cut right. I'm looking at this again. Oh, no, I cut 4.5. So it should be 4.5 by 3 1/4. That didn't look quite proportional. And you know what? I'm going to put another layer behind there. Because that's what I do when I create on the fly. So this was 4.5 by 3 1/4. So I'm going to go just a little bit larger. So 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. And this card is turning out to be different than I planned, but that is okay. That's kind of how my brain goes at times. And I have found when I just kind of let the ideas flow and go with them, it actually makes me more creative. So don't think that you always have to have a plan. Don't think that you always have to, what do I want to say? Know exactly how it's going to turn out. Sometimes it's nice to have a vision, but sometimes the end result isn't necessarily what you planned. And that's okay. That can be a good thing. Michelle, you just sent me 200 stars? Oh, my dear, thank you so much. I think this might be the first time I've ever received the stars. the Facebook Stars. It seems to be a new program. I didn't quite know what it was exactly when I was signing up, but it was just kind of, I thought, I'll try it and I'll see. So thank you so kindly. You just made my day. All of you. I'm like, I love this. 41 people on a Saturday morning. I have to remember this because I do live by myself. I've been divorced about 5 years, and as you know, my daughters are adults, so they don't live at home with me. And weekends get kind of lonely. I have to admit, weekends do get lonely still. So I try to keep real busy, but so I'll have to remember that. Even if it's an impromptu. I think I like it this direction. Impromptu Saturday Facebook Live. So thank you. See what I did there with this extra set of leaves? Just wanted to add a little something more there. Could even put them lower. I think I'm going to go right there. And of course, we need a sentiment. Let's see, I used "Here for You Always" and "You Are a True Friend," I think is what yes, that's what I used on. I'm going to do "Just Because." Do any of you send "Just Because" cards? Oh, you guys are killing me. Thank you so much. Not killing me. You're making my day. All the stars. Oh, I don't even know what to say. Thank you. And the reach is now 43 people on. Wow. This has certainly been a bright spot in my week. Thank you. All right, so let's add this. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking I might want to stamp on the Calypso Coral. So I'm just going to cut a little strip here. I'm trying to think, well, half inch should be right. Maybe I'll just go a little bit larger at 5/8 inch wide. And this is what I'm going to do. Well, that's going to be lopsided because it's not a half and it's not a... It's not 3/4. Okay, not liking that end at all. Let me start again with that. Oops, that's not going to work. I guess I should have just cut the 1/2 inch like I first thought, right? Lots of "Just Because" cards. Yeah, I do too. Sometimes there's not a specific reason, but somebody's on your mind or they just need a little pick-me-up, and everybody loves Happy Mail, right? I don't know of a single soul that doesn't like getting Happy Mail or a handmade card. Trim this off a little bit. So you can see a lot of times I really don't measure out the length for my labels exactly. I just kind of guesstimate, and it typically works. And I'm going to stamp in Mossy Meadow on this Calypso Coral. Ooh, and it's even pretty straight. Yep, I think I'm happy with the way that turned out. So now I will pop this up on some mini dimensionals, and then we will be ready to add some of those pretty iridescent pearls, and we'll be all set. And with the pearls, I think I just want to trying to decide how I want them. I think I'll just do those 3 near the bottom. Oh, what do you think? Okay, let me pull all 3 back in here for you to see. So now it's real easy to see all the variations and different techniques that we can use with this one product suite. Okay, and again, the name of this product suite is Awash in Beauty. It includes the Awash in Beauty Designer Series paper, which we used on the first 2 cards. Remember, these pieces, flower pieces, were actually cut from a sheet of Designer Series paper. And then for the last card, we stamped and die cut the flower pieces. And just so you remember, the name of the stamp set itself is True Beauty. But honestly, if you like the stamp set, the bundle, I would go ahead and get the paper because they work so well together. And really, to buy the suite, what is the suite price? The suites in the annual catalog tend to be smaller, more affordable, meaning there are less products in the suite. I'm pretty sure all of the suites in the annual catalog are limited to 3 products, and they usually include a bundle, either a stamp set and punch or stamp set and dies, and a DSP, and then some kind of embellishment. So the whole suite price is $78.75. So you're really getting a lot. The True Beauty bundle alone is $59.25. But it's one of my favorites. Definitely my favorite floral paper, for sure, 100%. All right, are there any questions about the Awash in Beauty floral product suite? Or anything you saw made here today? Once again, when I post this to my blog early next week, I will have all of the dimensions written out there for you. Oh, by the way, and I pulled this out. We didn't use it today, but I thought this would be another great embellishment to use, is the brushed brass butterflies. I thought that, and then, you know, they're really just the right size even for the florals. All right, if you would be interested in receiving one of these, I'm going to call it the tent card. What I'd like you to type in the comments now is Awash in Beauty, AWASH in Beauty. That is the name of the product suite, Awash in Beauty. Right? I think it is. Yes. Started questioning myself. Yes, Awash in Beauty. So 3 fabulous cards, 3 of you. Your names will be chosen and you will receive one of these cards in the mail. Any questions about anything? Thank you all for joining me. I'm so happy you're here. You made my day by being such a large group and by all the stars you gave me. This was wonderful. Star party. So thank you very, very much. Oh, before you go too, some of you, I have cards. Okay, I have a pile of cards here for people whose names were chosen over the last several Facebook Lives, but they either didn't see that they were a winner and did not forward me their mailing address, and they aren't on my newsletter email list, so I don't have addresses for them. So if any of you are watching or you know these people, please tell them. Carol Jefferson, Alice Somsel, Maureen Keeler. So I need addresses for all these people. Becky White, Gail Ashworth, Lucia Ernenwine, Anita Tips, Carol Schaefer. Carol, I think you were on today. France Eldridge, Linda Sims, Arlene Talsma, and Sharon Williams. So if any of you are watching, I need your address. Please message it to me so I can send out these cards. What are there? There's probably a dozen here. 3, 6, 9. Yes, the dozen cards. Okay. Thanks very much, Carol. You all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Monday, as long as nothing changes in my schedule. I will see you Monday at 2 p.m. Have a good weekend, and thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.